Hello, assalamu alaikum to all of you, my dear students. Warmly welcome on the platform of Mixed Tutor Academy. Today we are going to discuss the living standard of living. Let me share the screen with you. When it will visible, just inform to me. Okay, my dear student, today we are going to discuss standard of living. The definition is in front of you. Standard of living means it is a measure of the quality life and prosperity of a person or group of people. You can say how the peoples are economically and socially well-being. Means they have all the basic needs of life. Actually, we can measure the standard of living on the basis of GDP and HDI, Human Development Index. Let's talk about GDP. In GDP, my dear student, is the total value of goods and services produced by a country in a year. And these are the components of aggregate demand, GDP or economic growth, which will equal to C plus I plus G and X minus M. Here actually the C is indicates to consumptions of households. I is going to indicate investment by the firms on capital goods, and G for government spendings. X minus M means export minus import means net export. On the other hand, for example, some there are further divided real GDP and nominal GDP. Real GDP means adjusted for inflations, and in nominal GDP does not include the inflations. All the time real GDP is calculated on base year and nominal GDP is calculated on the basis of current year. For example, here is the example 2024. This is the 2024 units. 200 units were produced. 5 1000. Same in 2025, they produced 200 units and the each unit's price was 600. Same, you can check in 2024, same production, means there was 2 units, 200 units were being produced by the firms. Same in 2025, 200 units are going to be produced by the firms, but the price change is this one. When the price was 5 at that time, total cost was 1000. When the price increased 6, now the price become 1200. There is 200 increase, which is called nominal GDP. So on the other hand, let's take this example year 2000, 2005 and 2010. The price 10, 12, 15, quantity 100, 200 and 300. In real GDP, base year mean all the time I will select one price as a base year. For example, I selected 2000 base year, the price of that is 10. So when I will every quantity will be multiplied with this 100, 10. 100 multiply 10 will be 1000, 200 multiply with 10, 2000 and 300 multiply with 10. So this one will be, sorry, here should be a 3000. But if we have to calculate nominal GDP, all the time the price will change. Mean 1000 plus 10, then when there will be quantity 200, price will be 12. The answer will be 2400. And when the quantity will be 300, the price will be this. So by doing that calculation, we can calculate the value of nominal GDP. Next, we are going to discuss Human Development Index. We can measure the prosperity and standard of living on the basis of HDI. In HDI, actually, we focused on three things. First, healthcare. Healthcare means we will compare the birth rate with death rate. If the birth rate will higher than the death rate, then the country economically it will strong. But if the situation will be opposite, for example, if the birth rate will low and death rate will high, it will be a bad economic condition of that country. And the second indicator of HDI is education. On the basis of education means literacy rate. If the literacy rate will high, number of educated peoples, they will be in a large quantity, in large numbers, sorry. So we can say that living standard is high of this country. And on the third one, income level. If the if peoples are more employed and their disposable income, what's the meaning of disposable income? For example, if I have my income 2 lakh and I have to pay 50,000 tax, when I will pay this tax, after that, the rest of the amount, 1,50,000, that is called disposable income. For example, if the disposable income will high, it means the living standard will high of that country. Some more measurements of standard of living limitations mean qualitative factors means gender inequality and human rights can be calculated into standard of living. Income distributions means inequality distribution of income, also some environmental issues on the basis of that, right? If the resources depletions will high, then automatically with the passage of time, the standard of living will reduce that in that country. On the other hand, cultural difference also. Actually, we can compare living standards and income distributions also. Actually, our income distribution depends on different factors. For example, productivity level. All the time, there are two types of workers. One is called skilled worker and the second one is unskilled worker. Skilled workers, definitely they will get high salary and their living standard will also high. But on the other hand, if we will talk about unskilled workers, they have low salary and their living standard will also low. On the other hand, role of government, for example, if the government will impose high taxes, then the disposable income will automatically low. On the other hand, if I will talk about firms, if the government will impose high corporate tax, they will not produce, the firms will not produce more goods, and even though they will not hire the peoples for the job, means there will be unemployment situations in the country. So that will make a trouble. So living standard will automatically damaged in that country. Size of population, for example, if the resources are limited and the population is large, so definitely the living standard will be low there. So this one is all about living standard, distribution of national income, you can say. For example, if the government, if they not spend on the social desirability and they will spend the large portion of their income just on military and government spendings, so there will be also low living standards. There can be some regional difference and general price level. General price level, it can increase, which we call in inflations. Definitely it will damage the life of the peoples, right?
If there will be cost push inflations, definitely it will damage the life of the peoples, and living standard will also affect level of education. No good educations. When there will be no good education, there will be no jobs. When there will be no jobs, automatically the people do not have the incomes, and automatically their living standard will also affect. So this is all about last thing, per capita GDP is calculated with this formula, GDP divided by population. My dear student, it was all about standard of living. So take care. Thank you very much.